Good afternoon, everybody. I just arrived in Santiago, Chile. So I left Cartagena, and it took me about like a day to fly all the way over here. I had to fly to Panama City and then to Santiago, Chile. So right now I'm in Santiago. I just left Cartagena, so after each city, I'll do a review or 5 lessons that I learned in that city. So yeah, I guess when I was in Cartagena, I learned quite a bit, not just about the city, but also the difference between the cities within Colombia, just because I think that there's a huge difference amongst even just the 3 cities that I visited while I was in Colombia. So I guess lesson number 1 is Cartagena is a very touristy city. I would have thought that the coffee region, such as Salento, would have been more touristy, but actually it ended up being that this tropical city had a lot more tourists, and you could kind of see it in the vendors and the people that would come up to you and try to sell you things. But yeah, there was a lot of people coming up and trying to sell things to you, or at least to me, and they were kind of relentless, so you'd have to say no multiple times. And I guess for me it was definitely a little bit tough, just because I have a hard time saying no to people. Yeah, if anyone goes to Cartagena, I'd recommend just kind of preparing yourself for all the people that will go up to you, because it'll happen quite a bit. I guess be pretty firm when you don't want it, and I guess if you do want it, just follow along. Or just go with the flow and say yeah. And 2, I'd say that, just to piggyback off the first point there, it was more expensive than the other 2 cities. And I think the reason is because Cartagena is very tropical and a lot of beach area. So the city has to capitalize on the tourism that kind of fluxes in during this high season here. So a lot of things are pretty expensive. I think the meals that I had averaged about 40,000 per restaurant. And just to compare it to Bogota or Salento, a meal there was maybe like 10,000, 20,000 Colombian pesos. So it was almost double in Cartagena. So I think places take cards. So on that side, you don't really need to take cash too much. Card will be fine, but I do recommend taking some cash just if you want to buy some stuff like souvenirs and such. And then I think my third point is, the food. So the food is really good in this, and I would say in particular, seafood. I think almost every day I was there, I tried trying new things, but the one thing that I always got was the fish and rice, because the Cartagena is right next to the sea, or it's on that coastline there of Colombia. They have access to a lot of good seafood, so every day I get fish. And I feel like in the States, if you were to get fish, it'd be like $30-$40 US dollars. But in Cartagena, obviously the cost of living isn't as high, so things are at a lower price. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting seafood while you're in Cartagena if that is something that you would eat. It tastes fresh, it tastes really soft, and they cook it very well. I think it's part of their cuisine, so they perfected the art of fish frying and fish cooking and seafood cooking. But yeah, I'd get the seafood there. My 4th lesson, I think one thing that surprised me was, I think the nightlife, at least the night that I went out, was not very, very alive. So if you're not into clubs, I feel like Cartagena is not the place to go clubbing. But if you are looking for something else, there were quite a bit of prostitutes in the clubs. I heard that prostitution is legal in Colombia. It's just that I guess pimping is illegal. So it was just interesting to see that there are so many prostitutes in one area in the clubs, because if you would walk in, there were just like 30 women and 1 dude. So it was just very surprising to see so many women in one area. And then I learned later, after they would come up to me, that they were prostitutes. So that's probably one thing that I should let some people know, that in the clubs here in Cartagena, there are prostitutes just roaming in. If that's your thing, come here. If it's not, just, I guess, be aware. Number 5, I'd say, is go to the Rosario Islands. It was something that was kind of like on my list to do, but Stella actually recommended that I do go, or someone that I met recommended that I do go, and it was the best experience probably that I had. It is a little bit on the pricier side. I guess it just kind of depends on which group you go with. You just have to find a good price, but I think the price will range between like $80 to $300, and then you could find whatever add-ons or whatever experience you want. one that I'll recommend, I'll just put in the description, is it's the Airbnb experience that I did. I did a video on it before, so if you want to see what that looked like, just check that out. But yeah, I'd go to the Rosario Islands. It's a very, I feel like there's a lot to offer in the sense that there's snorkeling, there's swimming, you can just boat, you can chill. A lot of options for people to have. And I don't know, it's a very relaxing experience. Yeah, highly recommend the Rosario Islands. If anyone is in Cartagena, do it. But yeah, those are my 5 lessons from Cartagena. And I'm in Chile right now. I think I'm going to just do another video about Colombia, and then I'll take you all around Santiago. So stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next one. So bye.